If you are suffering from arthritis and you are wanting to give your body the best chance to heal, and you're wanting to know what to eat and what not to eat, then this video is for you. Now, I have done another video on nutrition, what to eat, why to eat it, when to eat it, and that is a sort of maintenance nutrition program. It's a healthy nutrition that you can follow for your life that will control inflammation, control your weight, control your energy reserves, limit your tendency to develop chronic diseases, but it's also manageable in terms of lifestyle and flexibility. That is a standard nutritional program. This one is an intervention. It is an intervention to try and address a very specific health or medical metabolic issue, and so it has tweaks. It has extra detail in it. It is more strict than the kind of diet you would follow for a long term, for the rest of your life. And so it's temporary, and you should do this for at least the first 3 months, and then you see how you're going, and you might want to start being a bit more flexible because the lifestyle pressures are too great, or you might find that you're enjoying it so much that you continue to do it, and that's absolutely fine as well. So you be the judge of that, but I would strongly recommend that you do this at least for 3 months to give it enough chance so that you can see what progress it's going to help you make. So welcome to Shape Fixer. I'm Andrew. I had terrible hip arthritis. I was scheduled for a hip replacement, which I did not do, and I followed a 3-month program which included eating the way that I'm going to explain to you in this video. Now, you're not going to heal arthritis just with diet. You might, but that would be lucky. You also need to be monitoring other aspects of your lifestyle that are inflammatory. So stress management is important. You need to get enough sleep. Otherwise, your cortisol levels, that's your stress hormone, will be too high, and that is inflammatory. And you need to please not be smoking. Now, if I have to speak at all about smoking and tell you why you shouldn't be smoking, then I think you haven't been paying attention for the last 50 years. So we know about that. That is the most inflammatory lifestyle factor that you can imagine. Okay, so we don't smoke. We try to manage our stress. We need to manage exercise. We need to do appropriate exercise to try to rebuild the supporting structures around the joint, particularly the muscles where they're out of balance. And if you're dealing with the hip specifically, I have done several videos on those exercises, which are not difficult to do. But diet, we're going to talk about diet. So what is the deal with diet? There are 3 things that we need to address when we have arthritis and we want to use our food to help us heal. One is inflammation. We need to eat food that is not going to cause inflammation, because a lot of what we eat is actually quite inflammatory. So once we cut those things out of our diet, we can also add in 1 or 2 other things that are actively anti-inflammatory. We are going to get our inflammation under control. No healing will happen unless we can get the inflammation under control. So that's the first thing. The second thing we want to do is control or lower our weight. If we are very overweight, we need to lose weight, because remember, every pound or every kilogram that you can lose is 1 pound or 1 kilogram less pressure on that joint. So that is a logical thing. So we're going to eat to get our weight down. Then the third thing we need to do, obviously, is if we are going to rebuild anything, we need the raw materials from which we will be able to build that tissue. So whether we're creating collagen to lay down in the cartilage, or whether we're building up muscle or any other structure around that joint, you need to make sure that the food you eat contains all the amino acids and the vitamins and the minerals that you're going to need to be able to build new, strong, healthy tissue. So those are the 3 factors. Now, I'm going to go through those 3 factors: inflammation, weight, and rebuilding separately, but I'm going to start off with one thing that actually covers inflammation and weight, and this is the single most important thing. If you don't take anything else out of this video, this is what you need to really get into your head. No sugar. Okay, I know I talk about this in all my videos, and that's because it's true. It is the most important factor. You need to cut sugar out of your diet. And if you're doing this as an intervention diet for 3 months, you need to be ultra strict, because sugar is always processed in your blood and in your system with insulin that is produced in your pancreas, and insulin is a hormone, and when your insulin elevates, it is massively inflammatory. So it's very inflammatory. So you eating lots of sugar in the form of carbohydrates generally, because that's what sugar is. Most of the sugar we eat is starch, because we don't realize that it's actually sugar, but it's sugar. Starch is glucose. There is nothing else in a molecule of starch. It's a string of glucose, sugar molecules linked together in a big line that break up in your mouth. Okay, there's an enzyme in your saliva, alpha amylase, which breaks those chains of sugars up before you've even swallowed them. So by the time you've chewed and swallowed your mouthful of pasta, you are just putting straight glucose into your stomach. It doesn't taste like sugar, because the sugar that we know, table sugar, is not just glucose. It's glucose and fructose, and the fructose element is what gives it the sweet taste. But when you eat pasta, you don't taste it. Okay, got to cut the sugar out of your diet, because it is raises your insulin. It is massively inflammatory. Now, there's another problem with insulin. Insulin is a growth hormone, so you do need to be producing some insulin. Insulin metabolizes your sugar by moving the sugar around and delivering it to the cells, but it is also a fat storage hormone. So you're not going to lose weight. In fact, you're going to probably gain weight, and that doesn't help you to get the pressure off your arthritic hip. So for 2 reasons, for inflammation and for weight, you need to go on a low carb or zero carb type of diet, whether that's a ketogenic diet or ketovore or Atkins or paleo or carnivore, any of those. I don't like diet labels. I'm not even going to use them again in this video. I am going to talk about the actual food and what the food does and doesn't do for you. But you've got to cut the sugar out of your diet. Now, the only thing sugar actually does for you is it gives you energy because you burn it. Fortunately, you don't have to burn sugar for energy. You can burn fat. And we're going to encourage you here to eat a lot more fat. Okay, fat does not make you fat. Sugar makes you fat. Fat makes you thin. That's the science. Okay, we're going to cut sugar out. Now, what else are we going to do for inflammation? We spoke about smoking. Alcohol is very inflammatory. So in this 3-month strict regime, I am going to say to you, please don't drink alcohol. It's very unlikely you're going to get through the entire 3 months without having any carbohydrates or any alcohol, unless you are already a non-drinker. But you're going to aim for perfection, and you will end up with something that's pretty good. Okay? If you aim for something that's pretty good but not perfect, you'll probably only get as far as okay-ish. And if you start off trying to be flexible, it's going to probably be a disaster. Okay, I heard somebody say the other day, one of the best things I've ever heard, talking to their little kid, and they said, come along now, practice makes progress. And I thought, that's a new take. I've always heard practice makes perfect. Well, not necessarily, but it's progress. Okay, so we are going to try very hard to not drink alcohol, and we're going to cut out all the sugars that we are aware of in our diet, all the obvious things. And I will talk at the end of the video about the actual foods, and I will also make lists in the notes down here. So please go below the video and read the bullet points and see the food types that I'm saying you should eat and you shouldn't eat with reason. Okay, what else is inflammatory apart from sugar? Well, legumes. See, these are beans, lentils, peas, the vegetables that come in pods are generally quite inflammatory, so I would suggest you try to cut them down as much as possible. You really want to stay away from things like beans in a tin, because they are also very high in carbohydrates when they're in that form. You're not even eating the pod, you're just eating the kernel, and the sauce that is put in the tin has been spiked with fructose, and so we want to stay away from ultra processed foods. They generally have extra sugars in them that are hidden, that they don't even name. They have other chemicals in them and preservatives, which can be very inflammatory as well. So stay away from ultra-processed food, stay away from sugars, and try not to eat legumes with your meals. The other vegetable type that there is some conflicting science about whether they're inflammatory or not, are nightshades. Now that includes potatoes, which we're already not going to eat because it's starch, but it also includes tomatoes and peppers and eggplants or brinjals. And there is some science to say that they have a long-term inflammatory effect, but there is also some science to say they have a short-term, immediate anti-inflammatory effect. So now it gets confusing. So what I would suggest is you just don't eat them. Just don't eat them. Then you don't have to worry about it, okay? What you can eat is other vegetables, leafy green vegetables, if you want to. There are compounds in vegetables that some people react to and some people don't react to, so you make that call. Obviously, if you are intolerant to something, like if you're lactose intolerant or gluten intolerant, then don't eat those things, because that intolerant reaction is an inflammatory reaction. So don't eat the stuff that you're allergic to or intolerant to. What else have I got here? Oh, trans fats. Don't eat trans fats. You're going to eat lots of fat, lots of oil, just not the trans fats. Those are the ones that are manufactured in a factory. They're not in their natural form. Your body struggles to break them down, and it's a big stress on your liver, and they are ultimately carcinogenic. I'm talking about vegetable oils and seed oils. So the fats I recommend are the natural ones that come with the food, and that includes animal fat or saturated fat. There's nothing wrong with that. So you can have all the animal fat you like with your meat. Butter, lard, olive oil, those are good fats. Butter and lard, great for cooking. Olive oil for putting on the food. The reason you really want to make sure you get enough fat is because you're cutting out sugar. So you're going to have an energy deficiency if you don't eat a lot of fat. I promise you, you won't put on weight. You absolutely will not put on weight if you've cut sugar, because sugar raises your insulin. Insulin stops you burning fat. Eating fat, well, that's what you burn. So you will burn fat, and you will burn your body fat, and you won't feel hungry. If you've got extra body weight, you just won't feel hungry very often. And when you do, as soon as you've had enough to eat, your body will tell you, because your hormones will be working properly. So don't be afraid of fat. Just don't eat. Just use the trans fats. And good idea to add to your food, as it has inflammatory property, anti-inflammatory properties rather, is turmeric or ginger. They're very similar. Turmeric or ginger, you use them, they're anti-inflammatory. And omega-3 oil, so that's one of the types of fat that you're going to be having in your diet. Omega-3 oil is very anti-inflammatory. Omega-3 oil is extremely good for you, and we don't generally get enough of it at all. So what you need to be doing is eating oily cold water fish like sardines or mackerel or salmon, or taking an omega-3 oil supplement. That will help you to control your inflammation. If you do all those things, you will have your inflammation naturally under control without having to take anti-inflammatory tablets all the time. Now, obviously, if you have really, really bad inflammation right now, and you're going to start on this program, use your anti-inflammatories to control your pain and to control your inflammation, so that your change of diet has got time to start working. I think I took anti-inflammatories for about 4 days before I went off them, once I changed the way I eat. So it's quick. So that's inflammation. Weight we spoke about. The only way you're going to lose weight is by cutting out sugar. That is the ultimate way to lose weight, is to just stop eating carbohydrates. Make sure you eat enough fat, because otherwise you will be hungry and get the shakes, and then you will probably go and eat a sandwich, which is a disaster, because you shouldn't be eating bread. So eat lots of fat in your food. Your weight will come down, and that will take the pressure off your joints. Then for healing, the natural ingredients for building new cartilage or new collagen and you can and you will, okay? Your body builds collagen all the time. It builds collagen in your skin, it builds collagen in your hair, it builds collagen in your hip and in your cartilage. There are aspects of cartilage that won't restore, but it's most likely that that is not what's missing. That's probably still there. Your chondrocytes, your cartilage cells that are embedded in the ends of your bone, in most cases they're still there. So you will be able to rebuild the collagen layer, which is reconstruction of cartilage, and will be the end of your arthritis. Remember what arthritis means. Itis means inflammation, arth means joint, arthritis is joint inflammation. That's all it is. Now, it could be because your cartilage is completely gone and your bones are grinding down and they're completely destroyed and your bones are dead. Then you may need a joint replacement. It's mostly because they're inflamed because of your diet, they're inflamed because of muscle imbalances, and then when you walk or run or exercise with those imbalances, you create pressure points inside the joint. You wear away the cartilage unevenly and your body's not able to keep up. The repair process, which is a natural ongoing process, doesn't keep up with the rate that you're damaging it. So if you can address all those things, you will heal your arthritis. I healed mine. I run 10 miles without any pain, and I was supposed to have a hip replacement. So it really can be done. But you need to build the collagen. Collagen is a protein, so you need to build this protein, and the building blocks for all proteins are amino acids, which we get from eating other protein. So we will eat meat or fish or eggs or protein from plants, because plants have proteins too. Break them all down, take out the building blocks, reconstruct our protein that we need, which is different from theirs. So if you eat salmon to get the protein and to get the amino acids, you don't grow salmon meat in your leg, you grow your meat. It's different, it's human, it gets reconstructed. And you build this collagen from the amino acids that you eat, but you've got to make sure you get enough of them and enough variation and the right ones. And the right ones almost all come from animal protein. Now, a lot of them will come from plant protein, but some will not. So it's quite difficult. You can take supplements. A collagen supplement is probably a very good idea. Not that that collagen in that tablet is going straight into your joint. Of course it isn't. It will be broken down into the amino acids, which will then be clipped together again to make your collagen. But it's coming from collagen, so most of the ingredients are going to be there. There are 28 different types of collagen in your body, and you can make all of them. So it doesn't really matter what type of collagen you use as a supplement. A general collagen supplement is fine. Remember, it's a supplement. It's just a little added extra. Mostly you want to be eating all the right food. But you can take a collagen supplement. You need your proteins and you need a collagen supplement. And then there are other things that contribute to efficient building of collagen, like glucosamine and chondroitin, which are going to be in the meat you eat, but you can also take them in a supplement. Making sure you have enough vitamin C is a good idea, because vitamin C plays a role in the process of building collagen in your joints. So take a vitamin C supplement for these 3 months. And then there are a few minerals like boron and magnesium that are important. I've done a video on boron. You can go and have a look at that. It's possible that you're getting enough anyway, but that video will explain to you how it works. And make sure you stay hydrated. Okay, it's very important to not be dehydrated. So you need enough water, and if you're going to drink a lot of water, you must drink electrolytes with the water so your salt balance stays correct. Otherwise you dilute everything and then you'll have other issues. But if you need to stay hydrated, because your cartilage does not have a good blood supply, and if you're looking at example at a hip, and there's the socket and here's the bone, then it's the motion here and the squashing and squeezing. It's almost like your cartilage is a sponge in between there, and you know what happens to a sponge when you squeeze it and then you release it and it sucks fluid back in. So the minerals that get in there come in through water, through your tissue, the intercellular fluid, not through the blood. And that fluid there's less of it if you're dehydrated. So stay hydrated to keep lubricating the joint to help the minerals go in there and to help the cleaning up process. Okay, that's it. The actual food list, I will mention it very briefly here, but I'm going to put it, as I said, in the notes down below. You can eat meat of any description, red meat and chicken, turkey, fish, any kind of meat. And remember that meat has huge variation, because you can have pork unless you have issues with pork, social issues, religious issues, or anything else. Beef, lamb, you can have it in the form of sausages, in the form of bacon, in the form of meat patties, minced meat or ground beef, steaks, kebabs, meatballs, you know, stews. There are lots of different ways to prepare meat, so it doesn't get boring. Meat, chicken, fish, fatty as possible. Don't be afraid of animal fat. Saturated fat does not cause heart disease. It's absolutely fine. Smoking causes heart disease. Diabetes causes heart disease. Obesity causes heart disease. Those things are way more risky for heart disease than anything else. So eat the fat. Eat lots of oily fish. Stay away from ultra-processed foods. That means don't eat meat that doesn't look like meat. So like a pink slab of wrapped up bologna or polony, depending what country you're in. It doesn't even look like meat. It isn't. Okay, it maybe came from meat at some point in the past. It's so full of chemicals and preservatives and probably fructose and cornstarch, and it's just horrific. It's going to be inflammatory. Eat fish, chicken, meat that looks like fish, chicken, or meat. Okay, you need to be able to tell by looking at it where it came from. Dairy is fine unless you are lactose intolerant. Obviously, then you shouldn't be eating it. And if you are going to eat dairy, stay with the full cream, high fat part of the dairy rather than the low fat skim milk part, because that's got a lot of sugar in it and no useful fat. So if you drink or use cream or butter or cheese or natural yogurt, that's really fine. It does have protein in it. It has calcium in it. It has fats in it that are going to be useful, and it's generally quite low in sugar. So that you can use. When it comes to plants, it's actually optional, to be honest. A lot of people don't eat plant products at all, and they thrive, but maybe you like having vegetables, or maybe you're a vegetarian, in which case this is going to be quite tricky for you. Eat the leafy green vegetables way before you actually even consider eating the underground vegetables that store lots of starch. So you stay away from carrots and from potatoes, and also don't eat squash, because squash has incredibly high sugar content. Go for the leafy greens that have the vitamins and the minerals in them and are very low in sugar. And when it comes to fruit, I'm afraid the news is not good. You must not eat fruit. Fruit is very high in sugar, especially fruit that we have now. It's been bioengineered and it is incredibly sugary, and particularly high in fructose, which is worse for you, more inflammatory even than glucose. And don't drink sugary drinks, soft drinks, and that includes fruit juice. Fruit juice is terrible. So you'll have a glass of squeezed orange juice and you've got 8 or 10 oranges in there. You would never eat 10 oranges. Now you're drinking all the sugar of 10 oranges in that drink. This is a very bad idea. So you stay away from fruit. You can eat berries. Okay, dark or red berries are good. Strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, anything that says berry at the end of it. A grape is not a berry. Okay. You can eat berries and you can eat avos. Avos are actually a fruit. They're not sweet, but they're a fruit, and they are very good for you. And the oil in an avo is very healthy. Cook with butter or lard. Put olive oil on your food after you've cooked it. That will help you make sure that you're getting enough fat. Olive oil brings out the flavor in everything. I'm biased. I live in Spain, but it does. It's absolutely brilliant. And you can add butter and olive oil to everything. You can put butter in your coffee. Try it, see what you think. It's really good. You can use coconut oil or avocado oil, but they're quite expensive, so you don't have to. And if you follow all these principles, your inflammation will come down, your weight will come down, your healing will speed up, and you will give your body the best chance to recover that joint, so long as you are doing this in conjunction with the correct exercise and rest protocol, cortisol management, not smoking, and the other aspects of lifestyle that are not included in diet. It's not just diet that's going to fix you, but if you don't have the right diet, the rest of it is going to be a waste of time because you won't heal. Okay, so that's it. Putting everything down below, linking down below and up here, also videos that I've done that will address some of these aspects in more detail, which you may not have seen, so go and have a look at them. And I want to thank those of you who actually pushed me into making this video, for asking for this video. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Please share this video with anyone that you think is going to get some benefit from it, and consider joining as a member, because members on this channel get extra benefits and extra videos and live streams and direct one-on-one communication with me. So if you're going into this project and you really would like to chat to me individually, you should consider clicking the join button, which you can also find down below here somewhere. Thank you very much and good luck on your journey.